So my name is Dan Sullivan, and I'm here basically to talk to you a little bit about productizing what you've just seen. And essentially what that means is applying some state to some of these automations. Everything that we showed you today has been stateless. It doesn't remember what it did, right? Other than you know, why it's autofill. That's pretty much the only state we had. Right? but we're actually going to apply a little bit of state to this. And I'm going to give you an example of this cross-connect sort of product that we've been talking about. I'm going to skip through all this, and I'm basically going to say, so this is what we did, right? We automated it. We did some orchestrations, and now we're going to wrap this in a product. So let's just get to the demo and cut to the chase. So this cross-connect service that we're building is going to actually connect an application that we have with our secure database. So we have, we've got an application running over here. And then we also have our, oh, I hate that. Then we have our automations, right? So Rich kind of already went through, hey, he's built these for me already. We've got create, delete, we've got enable and disable, and now we're going to make a product out of this. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use the Itential Lifecycle Manager. And what happens with Lifecycle Manager is you can define a model in using JSON schema. And if you look at this briefly, what you'll notice is there's more sort of business type parameters here. Other than the service type, what we're going to do is we're going to fetch some of the other information. We're hoping that our app dev team can push a little bit of data about their deployment into a Git repository, and we'll pull that. And also, since we know what this secure database service is, there's no reason to ask someone who wants to consume this to enter that. So as long as they tell us what service they want, we can look it up. And what we can do is we can have some operational state and some administrative state around this. We can tie in a contact, things like that. We can even decide, maybe in our case, we'll give a duration to our service, okay? And now once we do that, we have actions for our service. And these actions directly map to those workflows that our orchestration architect created for us. So we've got the create, delete, enable, and disable. So now that we have this, what we'll do is once we actually create it, we'll actually have an instance that we'll save. So we'll have some state, we'll have state about for every instance of this cross-connect service that we create. So that's a little bit different than running a playbook or a script. When it's done, it's done. You might have a log, but that's not really the same thing as having a stateful representation of how many secure cross-connect connections you're maintaining at any one time. For auditing and other reasons, it's really good to, as we get more and more security conscious, people are asking you to audit, why are you doing this? Do I still need it? How long's it been up? Are you sure it needs to still be up? Do I have a process to renew it? All those sorts of things come into play. Now, once I have all this, I want to offer this as an API. And so for this demo, I've just chosen Postman, but you can imagine any other tool that you have where you want to create this service. Postman was sort of convenient for us, so we'll just do it from here. And all of you guys are blocking my window. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to kick it off. And if this goes well, what we'll see here is back in Lifecycle Manager, we should see an instance get created. And there it is. If I click over here, I can actually look at it. And you'll see right now that it's basically running right now. So it's going off and it's running those workflows. And it's going to provision my connection, add some routes, and add a security rule. It looks like it's completed. So if I click on the properties here, you can see that it's up, it's enabled. I have some data back from my cross-connect information from AWS that I'm going to hang on to because I'm going to need that. The next time I want to reference that, I need to know that cross-connect information. So I'm going to hang on to that. So now I kind of have a stateful representation of this instance. Now, if I go over to my portal, I should be able to log in. All right. And it didn't, let's see, didn't like that. Let's see. All right, well, let me log in. My UI guy needs to do a bit more work, but I did get in. I got my cross-connect provisioned. Now what I can do is I can go back and say, well, maybe for some reason I need to disable it. Maybe there's been some sort of penetration in my web server. I need to disable access to the database, and I go off and do that. So I'm going to run another action, and you'll see over here, if I click on the history, I'm actually going to have a history of all the actions that I take and when they're taken. So I'll actually be able to track that in whole for each instance that I'm tracking within here. So if that worked, I should no longer have access to here. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's not looking too good. Oh, so now it won't let me in because it can't reach that database. If I go back and decide to enable it, we should see the same thing. We're running something in lifecycle. I can sort of look at the properties here. I should see it. I should see the state change here in just a second when it finishes. It works. And so now you see the state change, the status is up and it's enabled. And I should be able to go back and log into my portal once again. Okay, and so now I've got a pretty good service here. I'm actually able to do this in real time. I have an instance of it. I have a queryable API so that now external systems can go in and read that. So even my app dev guys can kick this off from their pipeline. If their service goes down, maybe I add something for troubleshooting. So if they're detecting an issue, they can troubleshoot this. And they did it all without some sort of ticket-based automation. Maybe I'll have those workflows open up some tickets so we'll know what they're doing. But I don't really require, I don't got to get Wyatt out of bed. He's cranky enough as it is. I don't have to get him out of bed to come in and do something, right? I have all these APIs available, and I can productize this. And I can build the products that I need. I'm not restricted based on what some other application has decided. I can build products that match the demands of my customers, my internal customers, and my app developers in this case. So that's all I had in the brief time I've spent with you.
And once you have that as an API, you can literally turn it over to the app developers if you trust them to access the products that way.
Yeah, as long as they fill out the payload, we're good to go. Yeah, exactly. And they can actually discover it. I can even potentially create a service and change it, and they can rediscover it dynamically using those APIs as well. So if I make improvements, they can rediscover that too. I don't actually have to provide them the payload. They can actually get that from the service itself. They can figure that out.